Hello and welcome to your show. I'm your host, Ernest Lee, and we have a great show for you today. So sit back and relax. And of course, you got to get that pen and paper out because, of course, you want to take notes here because, again, we want to make sure that we pass on all the information that you hear here to anyone that will listen to the sound of your voice. Give it to them because they may not need it, but someone they know does need it. And that's the way we want to make sure that the information get out throughout the community here. So, again, but make sure that you checking with PCC on registration. This is now November, and believe me, next semester will be starting real soon. But registration is still going on at Pitt Community College as of today. So make sure that you check with the schedule. Not only registration, but those of you who may have some issues with possibly financial aid, actually getting the application in, whatever it is that you may need from that community college, give a call out to ask questions. Main number 252-493-7200, and just ask for any department that you may so desire. So with that, we have a guest in the studio today. He's been with us before, and he's coming back to us again about some changes and some great things, of course, that are constantly going on at Pitt Community College. But we want to welcome Mr. Jerry Jones to the show.
Thank you, Ernest. I appreciate it.
Okay, tell us a little bit about, because it might be maybe one or two people that are watching the show that may have not seen you, but I can't imagine why not. But just in case, tell us a little bit about Jerry Jones and what is his role at Pitt Community College.
As you stated, my name is Jerry Jones, and I am the Director for Business and Industry at Pitt Community College and Continuing Education. And that covers about three areas, if you would. It's the CRC, which is now the NCRC, National Career Readiness Certificate. It covers the HRD program, which is Human Resource Development Training, and also covers what is called the CTP, or the Customized Training Program. So those are the areas I have responsibility for.
Okay, I guess we'll start with each one now. The NCRC.
Yes.
Okay. How would I say this? It has another letter added to it in front of it, actually, because for people that's hearing us talk about the NCRC, we're talking about the old CRC.
Correct.
Now, why the changes and what are the changes about?
Well, it's not so much the changes as it relates to putting the N in front of it. It's always been national, but there are changes as it relates to the lineup of assessments. Most individuals are used to hearing about the CRC, and they are associating it with three specific assessments, which are applied mathematics, reading for information, and locating information. But ACT has now upgraded, revamped, as it were, the assessments, and they've changed the name. And that's sort of what I want to get out to everyone. And we refer to it as the NCRC only because we're trying to promote the fact that it is a national certificate. But really what has changed are the lineup of assessments. So instead of applied mathematics, the new assessment is called applied math. And instead of reading for information, the new assessment is workplace documents. And instead of locating information, the new assessment is graphic literacy. And so if you go and take the NCRC now, what you will be taking will be those three new assessments, which is applied math, workplace documents, and graphic literacy. And so that's important for people to understand because if you have the old CRC, you're good, it's valid, it's still honored, and so there's no problem with that. The challenge comes into play if there's an individual, let's say, that made a score a little low on locating information back in the day when they took it, and they're looking to increase their certificate, maybe from a bronze to a silver or from a silver to a gold. And in the past, they were allowed to come in and just take the locating information again or retake it to see if they could get a higher score. Now that option is not available because ACT has changed the lineup up, and as I said before, revamp. And the reason they've done this is to make it more accurately reflect what's happening in the workplace. But what that means for the individual who may already have a CRC or have that credential is that if you want to increase your level of certificate, you now have to take the whole CRC or NCRC over again. And so you can't mix and match, as it were. You have to kind of start over from scratch.
Okay, so if I have a silver CRC and I have one area that could make me a gold, I can't do that now. I have to take the whole test.
Unfortunately, you cannot. You have to take the whole assessment over again because you can't mix and match those assessments.
Now, what was the, now, and I think you explained it, but I'm trying to make sure that a lot of people, because we've had a lot of people take the CRC.
Correct. and still taking it.
Right, and still taking it. And of course, they were told when it came in, this is a national certification or whatever. And so it still is, it's just these changes.
Right, and these changes again have come about because ACT wanted to more accurately reflect what was happening in the workplace. Anyone who's taken the older, if you would, version of the CRC know that some of the scenarios and some of the examples were a little dated as far as some of the technology that they use and they mention. Now they have updated and revised those areas so that they more accurately reflect, again, what's happening in the workplace. It's always been valid, but again, it's the next level. And so it's the same, if you would set up the same standard, the same amount of time of testing, all of those things, they are just doing, as it were, the new and improved. And I want to make sure folks understand that if you have a CRC currently, it is valid, it is good, and there's nothing you need to do. But if you do not, then when you come and you take the NCRC, then you will be looking at applied math, workplace documents, and graphic literacy. Those are the name of the new assessment. And again, the only trade-off is that you cannot mix and match the old with the new.
Now, of course, playing devil advocate here. If I come in and I have a CRC and I want to increase from silver to gold.
Okay.
And I come in and my scores on the new test is not quite as well, and I may go down a little bit. Is that going to hurt me? Which CRC am I going to keep? The NCRC or do I keep the CRC?
That's a valid question, and my understanding is they will still again have in place the old scores, so you don't lose those, or you never lose those, to my understanding. So if by some chance you came in and you took it over again and under the new assessments, but your scores were not as high as they were when you took the old assessments, then you can refer to the old. So whatever the higher score is as a unit, that's what you can do. You just can't mix and match them.
Right. Okay. Now, I guess a little bit. You mentioned a couple of other things that you do, the CPT and all that. Kind of explain to us what's that and what's going on.
Well, the CTP, customized training program, that relates more to our business and industry sector. One of the, I think, wonderful benefits we have in North Carolina is that monies are set aside to help strengthen and help promote growth of our business and industry sector. And so each community college, Pitt being one of those, have a customized training program arm where we go out to those companies that qualify and we assess their training needs. And from there, we come up with a plan to deliver that training to them. And it's usually at either no cost or greatly reduced cost for them. And so we have been doing this now for years, and it's an exciting time because, again, we are helping companies, organizations, pour into and invest into their employees. We are spurring on, as it were, growth where they're able to do new hires and do some pre-training, so to speak, before they bring those individuals in. And so that is state funded, and that's something that we look forward to partnering with our business and industry sector to make that happen. Not all business and industries will qualify, and so that's why they have to give me a call, and we will look at what their makeup is, what their purpose, if they're tax paying, because again, this relates to state funds, and therefore the company, the business, the industry has to be tax paying versus nonprofit or not for profit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now when you talk about costs, and I know we mentioned the CRC, the NCRC, I have to remember that too, but we didn't talk about the cost. Was there a change in cost? And I want to go back and make sure that.
No, that's a great question. As it stands right now, there is no change in cost. It is still for the NCRC $39. But I will have to say this, that as ACT rates increase, and we're due for that in probably about maybe 2 years, to be honest, it may be less than that. We don't control that, obviously. Mm-hmm. We have to reevaluate, and we have to figure out how can we provide this service to the masses and continue to be viable as an entity providing this service. And so that may mean we will have to increase. But right now, for the NCRC, for PIT, it is $39.
Yeah, are there any scholarship money or anything for people that absolutely probably need this test but cannot?
Excellent question again. Right now, at this moment, we do have some scholarship funds, but again, it's first come, first serve. Mm-hmm. And it is evaluated based on those that qualify. And so when you come into our lab, which is one of the starting points, if you would, to start this whole process, when you come into the lab and you sign up for the NCRC for the practice, and that's what we recommend, and where we recommend everybody coming to lab, starting at practice, because you really don't want to take this assessment cold. Then we will look at your situation and assess and see if you qualify for grant funds. Again, the thing to remember is that grant funds don't last forever, and so they're only issued at the time that you're ready for testing. Okay,
now with this with the CRC part, now you also, as we talk about the NCRC, mm-hmm. the CTP,
mm-hmm. HRD.
HRD, right. That's the part. Okay. Now I know we're gonna have we're gonna be doing some shows on HRD, but I know right. HRD is kind of under your umbrella too. So right. if you could probably give us a quick minute or two of what we're looking at with HRD program.
Well, to me, it kind of completes the whole picture, the whole package. HRD stands for Human Resource Development, and we're talking about, again, specific training that's targeting individuals that are unemployed, underemployed, that want to strengthen their skill set in certain areas, and or that are looking to advance in their career. So it's not just for unemployed and underemployed, but it cuts across the whole gambit of and the whole range rather of individuals that are wanting to just get a better job, a better paying job, a more secure job, better benefits, and those kind of things. The wonderful thing about it that I'm excited about is that, again, as I said before, the customized training program is that we go into the business and industry sector, we assess their training needs. Sometimes that means they are wanting to hire some folks, and then we have the privilege of doing pre-hire training. Well, many of our industry partners require the NCRC, and so folks can come to us and get that NCRC. But in addition to that, they also require, sometimes under the pre-training, if you would, model, that certain classes are taught before they make an offer to individuals. And so that's where the one component of the HRD comes into play. Mm-hmm. And you're going to hear more about it a little later from one of my co-workers, but one of the key areas is soft skills.
Right.
A lot of people have the technical skills, but they're lacking the soft skills to keep the job. They have the technical skills to obtain the job, but how do they keep the job? And that's what we want to hit on as well.
Well, Jerry, I'm going to make sure I hit on that with your person, because I think I have them scheduled to do the show.
I believe
But
you do.
guys, with everything that you heard here, you want to reach Mr. Jerry Jones. 493-7388 is the main number right now. Just give him a call. Ask for Jerry Jones and say, Jerry, I want to talk to you about everything you talked about
There you go.
on the television show when I saw you. So we look forward to you passing out this information. Jerry, thanks for being with us. Will you come back and see us again?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me, and it's always a delight.
A lot of information to get given out to you, but again, give us a call, 493-7388. Ask for Mr. Jerry Jones. You'll hear it all. Have a great day. We'll see you next week with a brand new show.